This video is going to take a look at what we call simple interest. Interest is something that you may or may not have had experience with, and if you've done any banking or you have a bank account, then you are at an advantage because simple interest has to do with how banks make money. So when you put money in the bank, they pay you for letting them use that money. That is referred to as interest. We are going to take a look tonight at simple interest, and that can be calculated by the formula I equals PRT. What does that mean? Well, it means that the interest that you earn, or that you have to pay, because if you take out a loan, you have to pay interest to the bank for the use of that money. That interest equals the principal, so that's the amount of money that you invest or that you borrow, times the rate, times time. Now the rate has to be expressed as a decimal and the time has to be expressed in years. So let's take a look at how this works. The rate as a decimal. What is 5% as a decimal? It's 0.05. Now, some of you will look at 8.5 and say that is a decimal, but that's not how the formula works. The formula absolutely, positively requires this, 0.085. They don't mean does it have a decimal in the percent. They mean you have to express that percent as a decimal. So 3.25% is going to be 0.0325. And these are the types of rates you will need to use in that formula. Time also must be expressed in years. So 4 years, I'm going to put 4 in my formula. 18 months is not in years. So what is 18 months in terms of years? It's 1.5 years. And 6 months is going to be 0.5 years. Let's look down at the examples. Find the interest earned or paid. So I take out $10,000 and the interest rate that they're charging me is 8%, and that's for 2 years. So the first thing you're going to do is write down your formula. I equals PRT. So what do I want to know? I want to know the interest, and that's going to be the principal, which is the amount of money that I'm taking out as a loan, times the rate, times the time. And then you just multiply it out and you get $1,600. Let's try number 2. I have $5,500 I'm putting in a savings account. It's paying 5% and that's for 3 years. So the interest that I'm going to earn is going to be the principal times the rate times the time. That's going to be 5,500 times my rate as a decimal times the number of years, and if you multiply that out, the interest that you get is $825. Too bad that's not realistic right now. All right, let's try number 3A. Find the interest on an $8,000 loan at 7.5% for 6 months. So again, the first thing I do is always write my formula down, so that I can at least get partial credit for knowing that. Then the principal is $8,000. The rate, be careful here, is 0.075, and my time is 6 months, so that's 0.5. If you do the multiplication there, hopefully you have a calculator handy, that's going to be $300. So part B asks you what amount must be repaid. Well, if you borrowed $8,000 from the bank and then they're charging you $300 interest, you have to pay back the whole thing. You have to pay back that $8,000 and you have to pay back the $300 interest. This $300 is a cost of using their money. If you'd like right now, you can pause the video and try the next several on your own. There, I believe, are a couple cases where you have to solve for the missing rate. So that's going to require you to do a little algebra. Here are the answers for the questions on the back. As you noticed in number 4, you had to find the missing rate. So you can plug in all of the information that you know and solve for R. In number 5, you were missing the principal. So you had to plug in the rate and the time and then divide by 0.27 to get the $500 principal. 6 was straightforward. In 7, there was a little bit of a twist because 3 months is actually a quarter of a year, so you had to plug in 1/4 as a fraction or 0.25. Also, if the loan was $50 and he paid him back $52.50, then you knew that the interest was $2.50. So that one was a tiny bit tricky. Had to read into it a little bit. And make sure to express your final answers for the rate in percents. Other than that, you're good to go. Simple interest. It's simple. Yay!